So I think this year the challenge should be the race across America. This is by far the world's toughest race. Let's go.
Alan Heary is a sports psychologist and trainer specialising in preparing elite athletes and teams for competition. His clients have included world champions such as WBO super middleweight champion Steve Collins and Olympians like 1996 Irish record-holding swimmer Nick O'Hare, the 1998 two-man bobsleigh team of Simon Lynchide and Peter Donoghue, and also consistently working with inter-county football teams and county champions. Alan's personal passion is the sport of cycling. In 2007, he had the idea of using his training systems to take 4 amateur and novice cyclists and give them professional coaching, training, psychological support and equipment normally associated with top athletes, and then enter them into the toughest bike race in the world, the race across America. Dozens turned up for the auditions, hoping to be chosen as part of the squad for training. The process would last 6 months and involve contenders being chosen in an audition format, based on raw talent, passion and mental toughness. The hopeful applicants were chosen by Irish cycling coach Pádraig Murray, former president of Cycling Ireland and manager to some of Ireland's top cycling teams PJ Nolan, Olympic athlete Finola Britton, and one of Ireland's top mental fitness coaches and trainers, Alan Heary.
Just impossible.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
Just ridiculous. This individual here.
The race itself will take 6 or 7 days of continuous racing, so each athlete is tested for strength, speed, power and endurance. There is much debate about the results of the audition and fitness training. However, 12 were chosen for the difficult training camps ahead. The crew, to help the squad, would be made up of those individuals who did not make the final 4-person team challenge.
As I said, it's the toughest decision we could possibly make. It's the only one of the hardest things I would have to do. I have to say, sorry, you didn't make it.
Now you have a few weeks to get yourselves prepared, so I would recommend you start cycling, start training, start to watch your diets, because that's going to be a major part.
If the competitors thought the initial testing was tough, they were in for a shock. One of the strategies that the coaches use is each rider doing 8 to 10 miles of time trials with a short 20-minute recovery in order to maximize the average speed produced. This means the cyclists would be tested to find their physical and mental limits, both inside and outside. A keen cyclist himself, Alan hopes to cross America as part of the Final 4 squad. Today's goal is to find out how fast the riders can cycle 8 miles.
Okay, time off. Simon's going first. He's at 01. Brendan is second. What? Brendan Heary second, 02. Vicky is not doing it, but she's 03, so you can just leave it blank. Andy's 04, and Declan 05, Geraldine 6, Alan is 7, Avery McNally 8, Colin Lavery 9, Alan Duffy 10, Paul Carroll 11, and Steve McManaman 12.
Everyone start with your big ring, I would say. Right, first three here, line up. Go together, are we? No. Just line up, one after the other, so I know where you are. Wait.
It takes a while to get used to cycling and stuff, and I've never done it before, so you know. It's a difference on a stationary bike at home or in the gym, and then when you come out onto the road, sure, it's all over the place. The gears and the whole lot. Can't use the bike as an excuse, it's mainly myself, but you're looking.
Come on, Simon!
Come on, Si!
The results are not good. Even the fastest time is well below the 20-mile-an-hour minimum pace set by the coaches. To give the riders a sense of the enormous stress of the race across America, Alan has invited former competitor Kenny Dunlop for the day.
We're after doing a time trial there. What's the difference between doing that and doing what we're going to be doing the race across America?
Well, that's a hill, but you're going to go up mountains, so that's the big difference. The distance in them is, you can get ones 5 miles, you can get some of them 6 mile long. The hardest one is out over the Rockies, it's 10 mile long. Once we get over California mountain, like, you know, then you dip down into the desert, and there was some scary descents, and crosswinds was the big thing. Fellas are trying to go down hills on the time trial bars. I wouldn't recommend it. I had full control of my bicycle. Those lads just threw off the bicycles, and they were lying on the side of the road, ambulance and all there.
After the first training camp, the coaches realise that the group is going to need a lot of work. They've been given a rigorous training schedule, and team guru Alan has to spend many sessions between camps getting them to a level where they're faster and stronger, with weight loss for some a priority. It's now February, and the group have been assembled for the second training camp in Slane, County Meath. Porrick and PJ are hoping that fitness levels and cycling techniques have risen considerably. Even before testing is complete, the riders are biomechanically set up on their bikes for optimum power output. The combined weight loss for the group is 96 pounds. The results are analysed. There is a significant improvement for most competitors. The second day of training makes for an early start, and everyone's preparing for a tough day ahead.
The spins are going to be about mental toughness.
Yeah.
And mental toughness there will be, because we'll be going from dark into bright on the Saturday morning, and then on the Saturday evening we'll be going from bright into dark. And psychologically that has quite an effect. Like,
lads barely recognise me this time round because of all the new gear.
My performance is well down this weekend. I haven't trained for the last 3 weeks. I was sick, so.
So these guys are training at the speed of very competent club cyclists, or even internationals will train it. So, you know, they're at the speed. Whether they can keep it up for 4 hours, you can already see it that, you know, some people are getting tired. But Porrick is pushing them at the speed that they need to be at to be competitive.
One of the riders fails to turn up for the fitness tests and training.
I said, Matt didn't do the training, didn't do the testing, didn't deserve to be with this group. This group has worked really hard. The speeds we're going is astronomical in comparison to the first day. Didn't deserve to be here. Bye-bye.
But psychologically, I'd say these are a tough bunch of people now. You know, they're well able to put up with you know, hard training. Oh! What happened coming up to the crash was that the lads were riding really hard, very intensively, and the road was actually quite twisty. So what they were doing was they were riding at maximum effort, and some of them may not have been experienced enough to go that hard. Physically they're good enough, but you know, from a cycling experience point of view, listen, people touch wheels all the time in races and fall. It's the same thing.
What?
Band-aids.
If you
had something, I just wrapped my hands in it. I like clubs, really like clubs.
Now, they were lucky insofar as they were going very fast and nobody really hurt themselves. There was no broken anything except bits of bikes and cuts. And you know, you can recover from a cut and get a bike fixed. That's not a big deal. But if you break a bone, you're in trouble for quite a period of time. So the lads were lucky that it happened. But having said that, the speed that they were going was really impressive.
Today was a tough day. It was 4.5 hours on the bike and it really got to a lot of people. We also had an awful lot of hills today. A couple of breakages, we had a bad fall, a bad crash. Luckily enough it's only bikes that broke, so we're all right that way. I think we're starting to narrow it down as to who is going to be part of the team, I think, and who's going to make up the crew. Tonight is another spin, a nighttime spin. We're not quite sure how far we're going to be going with it. I think everybody's apprehensive about it, but looking forward to it at the same time. And then tomorrow morning, another spin. But overall, a good day, and can't wait for tonight.
There's 8 people there. There's only 4. You know, 4 of these 8 are going to go. You know, whoever's there in June is going to be a good bike rider. And there's your man Paul on the front, plowing along there at 35 kilometers an hour after 2 hours in this misery and darkness. So it's and he's there. You know, he's riding there beside Porrick, and Porrick is testing them all. He's seeing what's what. Here's Simon now getting pinged. Simon O'D, and there's Geraldine fighting them to stay on, and they're really trying hard to stay there. Oh, there's Paul. So what's wrong with him? We'll find out.
What's wrong, Paul? Nice easy gear, start off, pedal a bit, get back into it. Easy gear. Andy went on lap number 3 and Brendan has just gone now on lap number 4.
And they're going back to the house?
Yeah. Brendan just gone, yeah?
Yeah, when they go, they're going to just go.
I told Andy
they're going to go like a bang. Like, it's not going to be slow and lingering, it's just going to go bang. They just drop the head. Jerry's very close, but if you can fight the hard part when it kicks in.
Yeah, this bit.
Yeah, this bit after you start to think. You go up the hill, you start to feel it in the legs.
Does he even know the right gear to use or what he's at? He's actually in a small gear.
He's gone up, yeah.
Oh, he's not gone up enough.
Too small of a gear.
Bigger gear! Use a bigger gear!
It's very impressive so far from what they did the last time, because the way they were the last day, at least 2 of this group were dropped at this stage. They were gone out, shelled behind. 3 of them actually. Now they're all here, and they're still you know, riding cohesively as a group. You can see they're riding very close to each other. So obviously they've gained a lot of expertise very recently.
If the riders thought that after 2 grueling days the coaches would be going easy on them, they were severely mistaken. Next up, hills.
We turn around or we carry on?
Oh, we're carrying on. You go down that way. That's the big climb over. The rest of it's flat. There's no more big hills. Yeah, be careful now. That's a mother of a descent you're going down.
It's the end of the final day of the camp, and the 12 riders must now face the coaching panel to be told who has made it through to the next round of 8 riders.
Today I was just kind of mentally going up over Lough Neagh and stuff like that, and just trying to stay with the group. You know what I mean? It was just mentally and physically tough today, so as you know. So you know, but you come through it and you kind of go. Well, at least I got through it, and the biggest thing is not to get off the bike.
I think today let me down big time, so I'm dreading it really.
I do expect to be picked for the team, but I'm sure everybody expects to be picked for the team.
I think it's a great challenge. Yeah, it's going to be very tough for whatever four is doing it. God help them.
At the moment upstairs, there's the 3 with Martina, Warwick, and PJ. And what Martina's really looking at is fitness testing. Who's done what, who's improved the most. From a physiological point of view, who would be the best candidates to go through. And then you have PJ and Porter coming in obviously from the cycling point of view and looking at the different skills from the weekend, how fit people were over the weekend, and also how mentally tough people were over the weekend. And in a few minutes' time, they'll tell me we're ready to go.
The good news from your point of view, Alan, is that you're on the squad. You've made the final 8, so congratulations.
Thanks.
Just as you're saying yourself, things you can improve on would be weight loss, more time on the bike.
Yeah.
Because all your results are quite good, but you have huge room for improvement if you drop more weight and all the time you put in as well will stand you in a couple of weeks' time, hopefully.
Hopefully, yeah.
But I think the good news is you're still in the squad for the next.
Are you serious?
Yeah, you're in. Good work.
Yeah,
yeah, go on, carry on.
So we're really impressed with the way you've come on. I thought myself and Porrick are fascinated. We think your improvement is superb.
Shivers up me back here, I do.
There's much disappointment for some of the riders, and no surprises for others.
Right, Ger, well, we looked at all the whole matrix of things over the weekend, and unfortunately, there's no easy way to say this, you didn't come up well enough in the matrix to go to the final 8. Obviously, today was a big disappointment.
Yeah.
You know, for you.
Got on great anyway. They were happy with this week, even though I wasn't too happy with Saturday or Friday evening and Saturday morning myself. But they were happy, and I'm on the 8.
The training camps are a great goal in 6 weeks' time. You know, they help to focus and the mind and give you a target to aim for, to try and see an improvement again in the next 6 weeks, which will be tougher. Because probably starting from nothing in January, it was easy to make a jump into. So it'll be tougher now. The next 6 weeks to make a similar improvement will be a lot harder, but we'll give it a good go.
Chuffed. I really thought I was gone this weekend, and I gave myself a few goals from the last camp, and I've achieved all those goals this camp. And 6 weeks' time, I'll give myself more goals for the next camp. So.
I didn't make the cut, but sure that's life. Things happen, you know.
I'm not in the squad, but I'm not totally surprised because I just haven't been doing enough.
I'm feeling great and I'm chuffed. Really looking forward to training for the next few weeks forward again.
It was designed to be a stressful camp. I think it was a stressful camp, and you're probably sick of me blowing whistles and roaring and shouting and change gear and all the rest of it. But at the end of the day, I'm here to get the best out and the most out of you. That's what I was brought up here to do. That's what I do best. Might be annoying, but it has to be done. Training is only as good as when you recover. So if you don't recover, you don't make the improvements in training. And this is something you're going to all have to do. So for the next week, I'm prescribing a week's rest.
If you haven't made the squad just yet, and I say just yet because again there's another opportunity, if you can help out and other things like the driving and that, because you will be part of the crew if you want to be, we need that. Okay. So just remember, look, we're a group of amateur cyclists, and look what we've accomplished in a matter of 6 weeks, and we'll just keep improving. And again, it's thanks to these guys. So well done, everybody.
By the time the third camp comes along, the coaches need to separate the wheat from the chaff, and that means only one thing: mountains.
That was hard. Just agony. But yeah, it was tough. Only 45 mile like in 2.5 hours. Not very far distance-wise, but the climbing, there was a lot of climbing. There was, what was that, 3 tough climbs.
Disasters. Came off the bike, come down the hill. Then about a mile after that, I got a puncture. Then yesterday was 2 sets of time trials, one in the morning, one up around hills, which I don't do really well.
Snow in the mountains was really nice.
It's cold.
Oh God, it was so cold.
We done probably 3 of the toughest climbs around here. Glenmalure, Achabana, and the Wicklow Gap. And it was just eyeballs out, so it was hard.
And you keep doing it, and you keep doing it, and you keep wanting to puke, and you keep doing it.
That was tough. That was tough going.
At the end of the camp, 4 more riders will be dropped and the final 4 will be selected. However,
I know there are 5 people who are capable of doing a good time across it, and we'll have to figure it out. There are a lot of various different parameters involved in the whole process. Like we started with 31, we brought it down to 12, then to 8, and now we know that there are 5 people we're considering. So if I have to make a call on it, I could call 4, but it may not be the right 4. I would be comfortable calling 5.
Alan, as project manager, is also competing for a place in the final 4 team. Like the others, he finds this week particularly tough.
I had some bits on the Friday night, and Saturday morning put in a terrible time trial, and Saturday afternoon did well. I was happy with that. It's touch or go now. Yesterday I was around 5th, so that's not the best place to be, but today I was maybe up a place or 2, so we'll see how it evens out. But it'll be close. Too tight to call.
Overall, the weekend we're very impressed with the performance of the whole lot. You've all gotten a lot better since we started. The people who are not going to go are Brendan, Simon and Paul as cyclists. In Paul's case, you need another year because you're just not ready yet. You're super strong, your technique isn't right. There's no doubt about it. Come back this time next year, do what you're told, and you'll definitely be going. Simon, your condition isn't good enough. If you lose another stone, you probably have one of the best positions on the bike and the best, I've seen you, one of the best racing brains. Brendan, again, you were sick, you missed time there early on. You definitely have the ability. I mean, aerobically you do, but you weren't committed enough to it early on for sickness and all that kind of stuff. So from that point of view, I would say that, you know, you're not ready for it yet. For those reasons, I'd be saying that, you know, those 3 wouldn't be selected to go.
That's it, doing nice and comfortable all the time. Nice and easy for the first couple of stages. That's it, doing really well. There are 10 seconds, it's going to go up again now. We're going to go up to 250 watts now.
It's now the beginning of May, and the riders have been training for 5 months. Alan has scheduled a comprehensive testing procedure at Dublin City University with Greg May.
Keep on pushing, remember? We're going to look at the RPE, we're going to go 70.
Greg is the sports science PhD researcher who tests some of Ireland's top riders.
That's it, another 5 seconds left, you're halfway through. Keep on coming, you're nearly halfway through the stage now. Come on, do you think you can finish it out? Okay, well done. Hang on there. Keep it on you there for a second. Give me 2 seconds, I'll give you enough to spin your legs in.
These tests will give indications of how much improvement the riders have made and how close they are to elite level.
Keep going, really good then. 45 seconds, we're at the end. Keep it going, you're doing really well there. That's it, keep going, come on, nice and strong. Keep on going, keep pushing through, end of the stage, come on. You can definitely make the end of this stage. No problem, Steve. That's it, Steve, keep going, 30 seconds more.
See the finish line,
come on, Steve.
Keep going, keep going.
Keep going, come on, Steve, you can do it.
Go on, Steve.
That's it, Steve, come on.
Push to the line, Stevie, come on.
20 seconds.
Push. Come on.
Okay, Steve, that's it. The time trial is different because you're obviously on the road and you have eases now and again if you come on a hill. But downhill you have more chance to brake, you know, to get rest. Where in this there's no rest. Pretty much everyone did really, really well. No one was actually what we would say untrained by any means. Everyone scored over 50, which is what we'd want to see anyone getting over. Most people over 60 as well, which is great, and then Stephen with a high VO2 max of 72, which is absolutely fantastic. Anything over kind of 60 would be what we'd consider starting into elite trained athlete.
And you understand that what you're getting done here is what's done for professional teams. And like Greg was explaining earlier on, he's done a lot of work with some of the national and international cyclists.
When the tests have been completed, Alan Heary, one of the remaining final 5 cyclists, sums up the progress so far.
Up to now, like, you guys are an amazing team. You've done absolutely brilliant to this point. With a 12-hour cycle on Saturday and then a 30-hour cycle in a few weeks' time.
However, at this stage, there are only 14 places and 5 riders. With only 45 days to the race, Alan has made a decision about who should be eliminated.
So I just want to say, I think you guys are fantastic. I think it's a very, very strong team. And I think you're going to break the Irish record And for that reason, in order to get this, I'm going to take a step back. So I'm no longer trying for a place on this team. You guys have the places on the team. You are the Irish team this year that's going to represent us, and you are going to go away and break the Irish record. So I'm stepping back from tonight, and we're going to pull together as a team on this, and we're going to get you across America as fast as we possibly can and in one piece, and I can guarantee you and I promise you it'll be organised to the best of my ability to do.
Yeah, speechless. That's all I say, you know.
For a long time I was in 5th position, so it's only the last while I started to get better.
Now we can start training towards the event, properly focusing on training towards the 12th of June or whatever the date is.
I'm a little disappointed, but I'm not really, because this is what I do, this is what I work at, and I'm looking forward now to getting that team starting to gel.
I'm very excited to make the team. Delighted. It was real tender hooks there towards the end. You know, we weren't sure who was going to miss out.
You were looked after. You had support on the end of the phone. It was brilliant. Like, you know, it gave you nearly a taste of being a professional athlete for 6 months.
The Ram being known as the toughest bicycle race in the world. It's kind of been the first time doing it, and you know, you're kind of apprehensive about it, but looking forward to it at the same time. You know.
Can't believe I got picked. Part of the fours is amazing, yeah.
Tests in DCU, camps in Wicklow. I mean, it was all so above board. It was just as good as being on any pro team or anything like that.
That I have to get up very early in the morning to try get some training in, be it an hour cycling or half an hour run, and then obviously then in the evenings as well, trying to get 2 hours in the bike.
We'd like to be as competitive as possible, but given that we've never done anything like this, it's going to be really tough.
PJ Nolan, I mean, I don't think anyone can say more than he's a bit of a genius, really. And Pádraig Murray, I suppose he's one of the toughest lads I ever met in my life, you know.
I can take a slight detour on the way home and maybe go home via the Wicklow Mountains or go home by Howth and you know, get in a few miles and a few little hills to increase the mileage and the hours.
All going well, hopefully I'll have one of those medals. And when you think about it, there's only 8 of them in the country.
The thing I'm looking forward to most in America is definitely the finish line. I'd be glad to see that.
Whilst we've prepared, there's so many unknowns over there with the length of the event and nutrition and sleep deprivation. You know, it's going to be really hard, but as long as we come home knowing that we've tried our best, I'll be happy enough.
These 4 are now the team that will compete in the toughest bike race in the world. 6 a.m. on the morning of a 30-hour cycle, and with only 5 weeks to the start line, the crew and racers are set to do a full practice dry run. The crew prepare all the equipment and food the racers will require on this practice mini race across America.
RV. Simon is starting off driving it. Declan is going to be there, and when things change over a bit, PJ will go into as a spare driver, and so will Ian for doing physio. Ian will only be coming in after we have one station done. If we need a physio before that, we shouldn't be here. All right. RV finish. RV goes from here. We don't want to see the RV again when we get to the time station in where? Monaghan. Cool.
If you look, the mileage is all set over on the left-hand side. Now, that mileage is fairly accurate, which means that we have to press it at 0-0 at every time station. Okay? So the car, RV and van goes back to 0-0, so we know exactly where we are on the road.
Is he starting from here? Yeah, start it now. Go!
There is one car that follows the cyclist continually. That means they have continuous cover. Now what happens is the cyclist that's changing, that's about to start, goes 100 metres down the road, meets the one that's finishing, and they cross paths. And the cyclist that's finishing right up to here stops. We take their bike off, put it on that, and leapfrog again another 8 to 10 miles to the next stop.
Cyclists and crew will have to perform over 100 changeovers in the race across America, and it's vital to get this right.
It's mostly today technique, checking the bikes, making sure everything's all right there. We've learned a lot, even in the first couple of changeovers, we actually need the bikes together, because what we normally do is we take the two wheels off, throw the bike in the back of the car, and then as the guys come up, we put it all, assemble it. That doesn't work too well. Other than that, it's going really, really well, so we've learned a lot.
At the end of the 30-hour cycle, it's time to analyse the performance of the racers and the crew.
PJ made a point earlier on as well, when we were talking about strategies. This is all about strategies, and as long as we can put a strategy in place, as long as we know, what's the best thing we can possibly be doing and have that for you, then we're at a huge advantage. And the other thing about strategies then comes on to other stuff like the navigation, what's the best way to do it, and we really have to sit down and discuss that.
After a lot of misfires and mistakes, the 30-hour cycle provides as many questions and lots of ideas for the crew to work on.
There's one cyclist on the road, that green car is following him. This guy comes along 10 miles later, drops this guy out. These two come on, he pulls in, he goes and follows, and then this cyclist gets into the frog car, and that process continues. Now, this is your RV. So, as we know, the RV starts out at this time station and moves on to the next time station, carrying the two cyclists. Now,
Two resting cyclists, yeah?
Yes.
The two resting cyclists and the two resting crew members.
You'd use this if you were...
While the racers continue training, the crew undergoes its own preparation in medical support, nutrition and diet, cycle maintenance and communication skills.
With our RV crew set down consistently throughout the whole trip, that leaves us with 3 teams rotating between 2 cars. So
with only a few weeks to go, PJ has invited professional cyclist Morgan Fox to give a racing workshop on time trialling.
See, he's not moving from the top, even going up this hill. He's not moving at all from the hips up. It's just maximum power the whole time. His head is dead steady. And even with the aero helmet, you can see that his body is right down like an arc, and he's getting maximum aerodynamics from that. We're going uphill now. This is a fair old drag at 30 miles an hour. Morgan bet Boonen in the Tour Liège in the prologue, so that's how good he was when he was racing full time.
Morgan's going to be going around with the lads now, so he's going to be giving them tips all the way around, just on gearing and their body position as well for aerodynamics. So as I say, we're very lucky to have him, and it's going to be interesting to see what he says about the guys afterwards.
It takes place on the same route where the riders were tested 5 months earlier. The results are impressive. The average time reduction for the 8-mile circuit is 4 minutes.
I'd say what you've got there is it's a dramatic transformation from a bunch of riders who've barely seen a bike before to what they are now. They definitely have the look of seasoned bike riders about them. Definitely not what you'd expect from 5 months of work, but they've obviously worked hard. From what I've seen today, I'd have full faith in them.
A press conference gives Alan an opportunity to thank sponsors and everyone involved.
And of course, Brookdale Partners here, which we're actually having this place to do this, so it's brilliant.
The legendary cyclist Sean Kelly is invited and has words of encouragement for the final 4.
And if you're focused for it and upstairs you're ready for it, well then that's a big part of the battle. But of course you have to put in the groundwork as well. What can you say? Just keep focused and keep the head up and the best of luck.
We're going to check in as a group. So what will happen is when we're all there, someone will go, take all the passports together and we'll go to the actual check-in desk, which means...
After 6 months of training and preparation, the 4 racers and 10 crew members are undergoing final preparations for the trip.
1 week to go. We fly out on Friday. You guys are flying out Saturday morning. We discussed
The challenge started with 40 people. Now the final 4 and crew prepare to leave for America. An adventure of a lifetime. After the arrival of the team in Oceanside, San Diego, the team are given 6 days to acclimatise and organise for the race. This includes physical preparation, organising vehicles, provisions, equipment, food, navigation, bikes and accommodation.
Quite a competition this year. I think there's 7 or 8 of them out there.
At 3,000 miles long, the Race Across America is the longest continuous race in the world, weaving its way across 14 states and over 3 mountain ranges, climbing a total of 100,000 feet, battling fatigue, night riding, traffic and deserts. The Race Across America will encompass mountain ranges, desert flats, plains and cities, and will take the riders through 14 states on their 3,000-mile non-stop journey. The race has been in existence since 1982 and is 30% longer than the Tour de France.
Good luck, Adrian. Great to get going, really happy to get on the road, and it's a lovely first stage to start. It's kind of downhill, a bit downwind, so nice and fast. Hope I didn't go out too hard. I think I passed all the 4 teams in front of me in about 2 miles, so well, if we can keep going like that we'll do okay, but it's early days.
There are 550 riders from all nationalities and various categories: solo rides, 4-person teams and 8-person teams. Some teams even have mixed gender. The age range is from 18 to 70 and the riders hope to race at least 350 miles a day. They've also been given a phone for this part of the race in case they have any initial problems. The Irish team has 23 other 4-person teams in their category. For the first stage, the team has decided to take the changeover slowly and methodically, and the riders have been told not to go out too fast until they build momentum. After 4 hours of riding up the hills, the second couplet of Stevie and Alan give a well-deserved break to Colm and Adrian. After 25 miles, the team begin their ascent of the Laguna Mountains, which leads them from California into the Anza Borrego Desert. It's now up to Steve and Alan to set the pace. Alan has been relishing the chance of these mountain descents ever since he made the team, and he does not disappoint. He flies down what is locally known as the glass elevator on a descent of 3,500 metres in 44 minutes. So fast, the cars can't keep up.
That was mad. The mad bastard. He just floated down that thing. He really went fast. Like, we were on a minute behind him starting off, and we were 5 minutes behind him at the bottom of the hill. So he probably went down at, I don't know, 45 miles an hour. It was a real technical descent, so obviously, you know, he's very, very good at that. And he put minutes into most teams. Very few people go down it that fast, you know, even racing cyclists, they'd be afraid to go down anything that fast. Find a level piece of road and change it. All right.
For changeovers, I caught a few.
Close your faces off, close your eyes. Okay, I'm gonna go around your back. Yeah, I'll just brush you down now. Hold on. 1 second.
What was your top speed?
53 mile an hour or something. The Extreme 4 Jeep down were sitting on me for a good while. They were fucking by. Yeah, go on, you fuck.
Stevie is just holding your man at the right speed. It's fine.
After riding through the desert for the rest of the day, the night brings a welcome respite from the 34-degree heat.
Studying for a RAM exam at 2 o'clock in the morning.
How do you like the night riding anyway?
Yeah, I think I like it okay. I mean, this is going to be the first real stint out. It was only kind of twilight last time I was out. So we'll see the full night time now and we'll see how I get on. Nah, I'm alright, I think. Once you don't lose the headlights, you're fine, you know. It's when you lose the headlights it starts getting a bit dainty. So, wait and see.
Steve arrives at the Leapfrog vehicle after a long stint. He and Alan will keep the same partnership for the remainder of the race, provided no one gets sick or injured. At very best, this is the first of 5, if not 6 of 7 nights riding.
How was it, Stevie?
Tough.
Yeah, it looked tough.
That section was tough.
It was a long stint.
There's a bit of a fucking wind in the face as well, not much, but there was a bit. Wouldn't I do that one again?
We've just come through a really very mountainy part, with a lot of very winding roads with hairpin turns, very difficult to negotiate. We've just come through that, and now we've hit this stretch of road where there's miles and miles of roadworks. We've also got 4 lads in the RV trying to sleep. It's bumpy, it's uncomfortable, and also we have to get to the next time station as quickly as possible to get things organised for the guys on the bikes coming up behind us. So we're just under a little bit of pressure to try and get to the next time station.
No, we're looking for SR 89A.
Okay. GPRS says we're going further. We are at 35.7. 12th Street. South 12th Street.
89A, 260 Main Street.
This looks promising.
This looks
a turn here on the right. Breadcrumbs telling us as well. 260, yeah?
260.
Down in GPRS.
260 Main Street, yeah, Cottonwood.
We're going right then.
You're turning right, and at 35.9, that's the time station as well. So this time station is right in here. The RVs are over there.
Okay.
I think you can drive in here and drive over there.
Will I drive around to the other side so they'll come around the corner?
Yeah, go. Right, lads, all hands on deck now. We have to see what's happening, okay? Everybody up? Except Pori. Yeah, you're 1.5 miles away, but we've just arrived. So what I suggested... What? Well, the other boys have said they'll go on, right? Now, what we can do is we can call in the station, we can get the 2 boys ready, we can tip out the road 20 miles and change out there if you want.
How you doing? I just want to phone in our arrival at time station number 8.
The RV arrives at time station 8, but the riders are right behind. Because the terrain was so difficult and steep, the riders cycled almost as fast as the vehicles. Alan and the RV team now has to dash from the town and get down the road as quickly as possible for the changeover, so Colm and Adrian can get their much needed break.
What mileage are we at? What mileage are we at?
5.4, so about 5.8.
5.8. We've got more trouble.
What?
We should have been on alternative route. Simon, I'll talk to you in 2 minutes. I think we're ready.
We should have.
Yeah. Where?
The team has an even bigger problem. In the confusion caused by the speed of descent, the RV should have been on an alternative road.
Right, what's the best way we can sort this out?
We need to get back on? No, that doesn't make sense.
We need to get off.
You guys need to be ready to roll. Yeah, I know. Listen, we're pulling in now. All we have to do is that I know we're supposed to be on an alternative route. We can do nothing about it.
Get it off quick.
After discussion, they realise that the only thing to do is go ahead, do the changeover and get off the road as quickly as possible.
That's one of your pints parked there.
No, you can't. Go shoot away for fucking.
All Colm has to do is pass him. And you can dad down nice and we get in off the road. We're only get fucking 15 minutes, right?
Yeah.
Come on, Alan.
Tell him to meet us up the road.
Yeah, you see, you get up here somewhere, she will.
No, but he'll only be once he
We've got
passes
a
him.
right turn up here we can take.
Am I going?
Yes. That's a dot right, that's no problem. You're short, you can park here.
Required for camping.
Yeah, you just turn around here and you'll see the nosy. That's what happens when you go too fast.
How fast are you coming down those mountains?
I have no speed up, but I was definitely doing 50, 55 maybe.
We were just barely ahead of you.
Yeah, oh, it was a great descent.
Enjoyed it?
Yeah, it was great, yeah, it was a good buzz.
Where is he?
With the first major crisis averted, the team can now try and settle down into a routine.
Yeah, here's Colin. As you can see, he's kind of struggling into a kind of a headwind here or a head crosswind. Pretty hard going. When I seen him first, well, he looked like a complete novice. He looked like a runner and an athlete in general. Look at him now. He's probably our strongest cyclist to date, based on camps and based on what we've seen here today. Really good job. And Adrian has been the revelation of the whole project. He just about made the initial 15. At all the other training camps, he was always struggling around 6, 7, and now he is a revelation. He's probably, based on what we've seen as well, he's probably our second or third strongest rider. Between all the 4 riders, there's very little between them, but he is a revelation. He's lost so much weight. He's just a horse on a bike, full of determination, enthusiasm, and passion. He wants to win this damn thing. Stephen was always our most talented cyclist. He's the best shape, best body fat, looked great on the bike, and he's still going very strong. He's going to be one of our key guys towards the end. And Alan Duffy. Well, Alan Duffy he's a funny guy. He came from a golfing background, probably a little bit lazy, but he is blessed with talent in every shape and form, be it with his mouth and his legs. He can do it. And he's going to be the guy that's going to make this whole project fun, bit of crack, and hopefully #1 team. Brendan, keep the stop short, headwind, okay.
By night 3, the sleep deprivation is starting to affect both riders and crew.
They're both screwed, like they're knackered, tired, they need some sleep, and they're at altitude, and they're climbing this dog of a thing as well. So, yeah, they're under pressure. They're going to be under pressure for the next 40 miles because the show goes up to 8,500 feet. So,
in addition to driving and navigation and feeding, the car crews have to keep close enough to the riders to provide light during the darkness. This can be dangerous with lack of sleep.
this will be interesting. Oh, when the sun comes up, they'll kind of wake up a bit, you know. Like, this is the dead hour of everybody's day anyway. You know, I mean, you were talking about 4 o'clock in the morning.
Why'd you go? Get up, go back down. You turned off the exit there. We're going up an exit here.
Oh shit. Yeah, we know. We can't go back down.
Well, we can. Go on.
An exit.
Yeah, just go on.
All right.
You get down there, look.
As night turns to day, it relieves some of the stress. Back in the RV, Declan is busy preparing for the arrival of the two riders after their night stage of freezing temperatures.
Cyclists are in. I'm just trying to throw a bit of food together for them. Just at the minute, there's so many people flying around. It's very, very hard to walk in a confined space with so many different people. But yeah, I've just been putting together a little bit of food for them. Just going to give them some rice, kind of a stir-fried rice. Kind of a dish with some chicken in it, or some bacon in it. So that should keep them going until the next time station.
How was that, Al? Enjoying it now. Still very tough though.
And you weren't last night?
Fuck no. -2 degrees.
Right over, Megan now.
Alright.
I don't know that all.
How was that stage, guys?
We were motored on that one now in
Motored, yeah, and for such a hilly stage, we really worked it out well, the changeovers, and we flew it like we really did. I know my average was huge on it.
Yeah, it was phenomenal.
It was huge. Did someone get my Ergomo off the bike, lads, please?
What about last night? How did you feel last night? Tell us about that.
Cold.
Larry.
But you were feeling sick. What happened there?
Recovery?
Huh? No, I wasn't feeling
nauseous.
Oh, that was this morning.
This morning, yeah.
That was the first thing this morning, yeah. Just that woke up too late, didn't get stretching, you know.
A bit groggy. It's very hard.
Just nauseous from being groggy,
you need like a half hour.
The first 10, 15 miles blew it out of you then, you know what I mean? Then you were motoring, you know. So it's important to get up early and stretch and get legs rubbed and just get your head prepared.
But this morning was I mean, we've cycled in -4 home, and it was just
you know,
it was just it was different. It was -2, but it was so like you get on the bike and your legs are literally just shaking, and you can do nothing about it. You know, it takes.
You can't get your momentum.
You're only out for 3 miles because otherwise you'd blow yourself up, and you can't. You're not warm after 3 miles, you know. So it's just very hard. There's average. My average for the last stage, 23.5 miles now. That was for the last hour stint.
2:57 average watch.
Sorry lads, this next section is going to be really quick, we think, so we'll get the food into you straight away and we'll hit the road so we can be over there with a little bit more time for you guys to relax before you head back out. That was brilliant, brilliant. He's really come into your own, lads. Excellent, excellent.
As the riders rack up the miles, the role of Ian McGovern, the physio, now becomes crucial to keeping the riders fit and healthy as they try to overcome the stresses of continuous work.
Alan's performers are very much overworked at the moment. When he's on the bike, he's feeling a lot of tightness in his glutes. So any chance we get, we're going to ice them. The ice will help reduce the inflammation, reduce the pain, and promote his recovery then. Alright? Considering all the miles they've done, they've really recovering very well in between. The fluid intake is going well. They're getting tight, but once they get a recovery and some sleep, they seem to be keeping their times consistent and everything's going well, so I'm happy enough.
Now in a solid pattern and on the flat landscape of Kansas, the team try to push themselves hard, but it doesn't always work. The riders soon let the crew know when they're overworked.
Fuck these lads, 8.5 miles.
By the time the team reach Missouri, the team is maintaining a high speed. However, this leads to navigation problems.
Map's gone the wrong way. Map's gone wrong. PJ's back on right.
See if a cycle fit him now.
Yeah.
Somebody took the RV phone, and then there's a spare phone, and then there's a frog phone. Well, if they're only gone wrong by 3 miles, but that's...
We found out what turn they actually took. If they can give us a mileage of what turn they took.
No. Adrian's at 14, Adrian's on the right road again, he's motoring along ground. So Adrian's going to keep going until, at the moment...
With a rider and car now lost and a mix-up with the phones, the team have a serious problem with major decisions for the RV crew.
Alan, what are you doing there? Are you connecting phones there, are you? Because you've all the fucking... You've all the phones now. Right, I'm gonna call back here, alright.
As they pass out other teams, the crew cannot find the cyclist or the pace car and have to make serious decisions on what to do next.
Entrance ramp to eastbound SR 254 East Ketchum.
Why don't they go straight down there?
I reckon they could have.
What do you think? Will I loop back?
Can't you? You're on it now. You
I'm going to go ahead of the boys. We're going to let Alan out. We're going to pick up Adrian. We're going to leapfrog again with Adrian, let him out for the rest of the stage. That's all we can do. See that up there above? See, look at it. See lights flashing way above. Way above. Yeah, see what that is about. Hold on. Hey, it could be alright.
Why?
I don't know. I just think this could be the boys. Right. Put in the RV up here.
Go. Back to bed. No.
Anywhere. Back to bed. No, get a suitable spot. Put in the RV. And we'll go.
Alright, there's a roadway here.
Just go nice and steady. Just don't go too far ahead. We're okay this night.
Keep going on.
Right,
They're coming. Nice and steady. Just nice and steady, Colin.
Stay behind. Well done.
We can't do a change out on.
This isn't a freeway.
It's an interstate.
The complex nature of the rules continues to challenge the teams as they struggle across the continent. However, another team catches up on the Irish team and presents an opportunity to give the racers a new and exciting challenge.
If we come up on these boys, which I believe we will, I don't want you to pass them. I want you to stay within the 100 metres and use them as a guide for pacing. And we're going to do that for a long time. We're going to try and play around. That'll really crack their head if we can do that. If they pull away from us, you're going to have to try and work really hard, lads. If you work really hard on this stage by using the boys, we're going to get a massive. They've 4-4 have no one out to gauge off. They're out on their own.
The Canadian 8-person team have now caught up with the Irish team. Although they're not in the same category, it gives the riders an exciting new focus, other than the road and the elements. The Irish team are currently in second place in their category, behind the UTAG team. However, they can utilise the Canadian momentum to slingshot them back into contention for first place. This means, however, each Irish couplet is now up against a 4-person rotation.
They're using this vehicle for stop-offs, judging the pace, where to stop off. They're also using it for navigation. Excellent system, but then they have the vehicle to do so. So it's working to our advantage. We can take a lot of stress off ourselves by using this.
As Adrian tires, Colin is pushing himself to the limit to keep pace with the Canadians until they are relieved by Steve and Alan at time station 49.
Get it up there next time before I go. How's that going? Was easy holding? No. You're too close now, a little bit too close. Now we're racing, boys! Now we're racing! This is the business. We're really racing now. It's cool.
As long as you keep them in your sights, and then at the changeover they slow down, so I get right up behind them, so we're not going to lose them on the changeovers. And yeah, it seems to be working. That guy was slow on the climbs, so it was easy to keep with him.
What they have there is worth. Oh, stop. You can't buy that, like.
They've 4 riders, 3 riders in that van and 1 on the road, so they're rotating 4 riders, so you know, they're going to be a bit fresher, so we're just going to have to work harder to keep them in their sights.
Adrian's a bit, he's not in front of the wheels. Come on, boys! He's strong, that guy. He is strong.
So they're doing 2 rotations then, basically.
Colin's going to do 2.
No. They're doing 2 riders then, are they?
No. We're going to leave Colin out for 2, Adrian out for 1. Colin out for 2, Adrian out for 1. Colin was feeling strong, so.
But how many riders are they using?
I think a 4. We can't do anything about that. Slow. Slow. Go!
With the strain of battling with two riders, Colm has to use oxygen to help his recuperation.
Yeah, that wasn't too bad actually. The last guy was a bit stronger, the guy before that was weak. I was cruising.
He's their strongest guy now, that guy. They went out last. They just finished up. He's their strongest guy. So we have to be careful not to put out him against Adrian too often.
I can't, Adrian. Go!
Use the head, go on, you have to go on, you have to go on now.
Don't pass it.
Don't be passive.
The lack of racing experience leads to a blunder, which upsets the smooth operation. However, they soon get back on track.
But they roared at us. Let's do this to Annapolis, man.
Oh, really?
Yeah. See, it's good for them, it's taking...
Because they'll get a bit of adrenaline out of all this as well, you know.
The strategy begins to pay off as the two teams race each other and begin to reel in the solo riders who started 3 days earlier.
Always stay behind their changes, always. Slow down when they're doing their changers, they're doing them really slow, to slow down. There's no advantage like to pass them out, and it's only going to mess up a changeover for us.
As they race on through Indiana to Ohio, the race relives the monotony of night riding and forces the vehicles to keep closer to the riders, increasing the risk of accidents and mistakes.
Where's their rider? Is that their rider back there, or where's their rider?
No, this is their rider right here.
Here?
This is him here. That's not, that's him, isn't it?
That's solo.
That's their van in front.
So you pass him, did he? Here he is here. This is him.
Hello? Here, come here. I'm going to have to ring in 1 second. They're all individuals in front of you. He's ahead of all of them now. You're going to have to get up to Colm and tell him. Yeah, tell him to go as hard as you can. And 2 time stations ago, we were 31 minutes back. At the last time station, station 35, we'd cut the gap to 16 minutes.
After 10 hours of frantic head-to-head racing, the team makes a huge error and Team Canada get away.
At stage 36, it's 25.8 miles into it. There was a turning off to the right, which was on our map, veer to the right. Of course, we didn't veer to the right, we continued on straight for approximately 12 miles. And our race with our Canadian counterparts ended there. They stopped a half mile past the junction, realising they'd gone wrong. We thought they'd punctured. We continued on, and only we got a call from the RV. Both navigators and drivers never spotted what we had done, and we had to stop, turn around, go back to 25.8, let the rider out and continue on. Now we've lost approximately 40 minutes on that stage due to routing. So that's life, the highs and lows of Ram 2008, and this is a low.
It was a devastating blow to the team and hard to bounce back.
It is 5 AM Eastern Time. Another hour and a half we should have some form of daylight, and we will have completed 2,292 miles with 722 to go. So effectively all we'll have is about 28 hours of riding left. You okay, Stevie?
Yeah.
Did you get some oxygen, did you?
Yeah.
Okay. Any good to you, is it?
I don't know yet.
At least I can't see the colour on your face, but it's better than it was 5 minutes ago. At least you're not as ugly as Duffy. Okay, keep it up, man.
Steve starts to feel unwell and struggles through the night. He perseveres. By morning, however, it's apparent he can't recover while riding. PJ phones a doctor in Ireland to find out what procedures to follow.
Do we need to get him on a drip, or would he be okay? That's exactly what we need. Okay, there's nothing else he has done 2,300. We have a day and a half. Not really. Well, he couldn't eat before. He couldn't eat before he got sick. There was a load of eggs in his stomach, so we reckon he was not getting digested. You know.
Where are we here, PJ?
Where are we? Where are we? Ohio. Still.
How are we doing?
Okay, we're surviving. That's what we're doing. Don't go into that woman's house. She has no biscuits. On Adrian, you.
Go on, Adrian.
Well, as you know, Stevie got sick, and we had to go with a three-person rotation where we had two people on, one man off. We had to kind of rotate that on every 3 stations. And in that last 5 hours, we have the extreme have more or less pulled back an hour and 15 minutes. And now we're only 8 minutes ahead of them. So it's going to be all go from here to the finish.
What we'll do now is just take him off the bike for a couple of stints to let his stomach settle down again. He's just going to sip some cold water with electrolytes just to replace the fluid he's lost, and take it easy for the next while.
After Stephen's illness and due to exhaustion, the team morale is very low, and the team leaders discuss the tactics for the last 500 miles.
I mean, obviously they're trying really hard, but they may have cost by the time we come here. But like, if you overshoot yourself in this thing, you really do pay in spades.
The strategy, you know, is just to try and hold on to what we've got a little bit, not overextend. And if we have to leave a bit definitely for the last 2 stations.
After a full day of rest, Steve feels recuperated enough to rejoin the team as the team reach Akron, Ohio.
I still feel a little bit sick. You know, the stomach's still a little bit upset. A lot better than it was this morning though. So maybe on the bike we should be alright. Hopefully. I knew it was going to be tough, yeah. I knew that. I didn't know what to expect in terms of how tough it was going to be, but really getting to know now.
How would you describe it?
I describe it like the hills. You're up and you're down. Some days you're flying. Some days you think you're the best, and then other days you're just not going anywhere.
Darkness descends for the 5th night, and with a clear plan and the reintroduction of Stephen, the coaches hope that everyone gets a boost and will drive on hard to catch Team Extreme, who've now passed them.
We're down now to what, 440 miles. So by the end of this station, we'll be down to 300 miles. So she's all downhill from here on in, no matter what way you look at it. And she's looking positive.
How does he look there for you to cover? How does Stevie look?
Stevie's looking good. He's seems to have come over his illness, and we're going to give it a good lash to try and hold on to this 2nd place.
Oh, Jesus Christ, he's unreal. He wasn't even able to steer the bike properly first when we came across him. Never mind steer it with tri bars. There goes the beast. Oh jeez, no lights. Alright, I'll give you lights. Jeez, look at him off. Huh? He's like Father Jack.
I think you should get a shot of his handlebars when he's finished his race. I'd say there's going to be chunks out of them. He eats them for breakfast.
By the time they reach West Virginia, the 4 riders are starting to get in the zone again, but a huge challenge is just ahead.
Well, this is unbelievably steep. This is I don't know, it's a 1 in 4. The guys have tiny gears on there.
It's the steepest hill. It's as steep as anything I've ever seen. This is number 4. Just completely vile. Jesus. He's having to go across the road.
4-man team can't find it hard to do it. How the solos do it, I don't know.
The team begins the last ascent of the 3rd mountain range, and although not as high as the Rockies, the frequency of peaks and valleys makes them more grueling.
So just a whole new level of pain. We thought everything else was bad. Whoever designed this course is a bad man. If I get my hands on him, you won't know what hit him.
With Alan Duffy hitting speeds of 50 miles an hour plus on the descents, this adds to the crew's problems.
Team Extreme 4 plus 15 minutes. Team Extreme 4 plus 15 minutes on the road plus 6 in race time. So we're opening it up.
2 guys have come up with a scheme. What they're going to do is they're going to get the 4 guys out on the road at one time. Each man is going to do 5-mile intervals. Or in other words, 5-mile time trials, as quick as they can possibly push it. In theory, it means that the 4 guys will travel much faster than they have up to now, and this should lengthen out the amount of time we can get away from the other team.
At the time station in Pennsylvania, the team gets an update. With 200 miles to go, the Team Extreme are closing in. This requires the crew to stock up on all provisions in the vehicle for the final push.
Right after the bridge and then a left after 0.3 of a mile. At a T-junction.
Immediate what?
He's a genius, he knows literally after the bridge, this right turn.
Then, in the heat of the final phase, a rider takes a wrong turn.
Put someone else out here, what? Hold on a second. Oh yes. Okay, we put someone else out. Okay, gotcha. So someone else should have gone out here.
Huh? No, read them out to me there. 3 miles. 2 miles from here, and then you take a left at White Church.
Half a mile right.
Yeah.
And that's all I'll be doing. 3 miles left, half a mile right.
Do you know the name of the road or anything?
I don't need to.
Do we want to follow him down the road?
Well, we'll go ahead of him. We're going to pass him out now.
Okay.
Fortunately, they only lose a few minutes. However, it's imperative that they do not make any more errors.
Hello. Yes, yeah, he's gone. He's gone down Sachs Road. We're going to go ahead 3 miles. We'll go ahead 3 miles at the next turn and he'll know where to go then, okay? Oh yeah, no problem. We didn't lose any time at all. About 10 seconds, that's all.
How much are we behind by?
We're only 2 minutes behind us on the road.
Porrick is unhappy with the results and changes tactics.
Next man out is Adrian.
Yeah, brother.
Take out Adrian's bike first. No, forget about him. That's there. Forget about them. You look after our lads. Right? What happens? Adrian comes out next.
Yeah. But he doesn't know where to go in a second.
Oh, why didn't you tell him? You have to brief him. Lads. See, look, we have to pick up your man. Next man out is Adrian. Then it's Stevie. Then it's Alan. Then it's Colum. That's the way it works. You just keep leapfrogging. You don't do backup. You keep leapfrogging.
And if somebody pushes us up.
No, You do delay. We're all the time coming up, you see.
With new tactics, the team are able to increase their average speed.
Time station 50, total average 20.2, stage average 19.34. Okay, that's our speed. Team cry not at time station 49. Team by 4 minutes behind on road, 5 minutes up in race time.
Now, with Team Extreme only 5 minutes ahead, the Irish team needs to up their speed even more.
We have to be careful a little bit now because
we're getting close.
Yeah.
Adrian is going to go to 15.4 the left, so you just let me out at the left there, and I'll bring it on then to 20 before the right. So do what Porrick has done there and stop at the left turn. Stop the far side of the left turn so Adrian can see the direction he needs to go, and I'll take over from there.
Be rapid now. Rapid.
You have glasses?
No, I don't. Well, I know it's alright. Stuck it out.
Go. We have to wait. You're right, we have to wait back a bit. They're supposed to be 4 minutes ahead of us after the last station.
As the finish line looms closer, the leapfrog car passes out a Team Extreme rider on the road.
So very friendly, really, isn't it? It actually is very friendly.
Next right turn.
Next turn right, go on. Good rider. Stop. The rider who's riding has to stop at the time station.
But can we let somebody else off in his place?
No, I think racer must stop. No, racers. Yeah, but there's only one racer at any stage.
But can we let off somebody else in his place?
No.
At the final time station, PJ Nolan checks the race statistics with Alan Heary.
We got in at 1900, bang on. 7 o'clock.
It's still 1900.
1900, that's the official time. So 7 o'clock.
You timed it in your watch?
Oh, stop watching.
Okay. It'd be great if it all pays off, you know. So I'd love to hold these guys off.
Right, at 0.5 we are bearing left on this same road.
Can you give me another one of them as well, see if I don't fucking some of them. I don't know which end they put it into me.
Oh, be alright, don't you worry.
And then in 2 miles.
2 miles.
Exit
Right.
the Freedom Bay.
It looks like we're after getting a phone call there from the guys in the RV and also from back home in Ireland, and given the difference on the road and the difference between our starting times, it seems like we're all level. Dead heat after 2,990 miles of racing. It's all square and we've got about 30 miles to go. So.
With every second passing, at this stage, the crew encourages each rider to push themselves to the limit.
Straight down here, isn't it? We're not going anywhere.
Straight all the way. Faraday, you're almost done!
Keep straight! Keep straight! Well done, Adrian! Well done, Adrian!
Well done, Adrian.
Adrian and Steve have now finished their final race cycles, and so Colm and Alan have the honour to bring the race home. With less than 10 miles to go, it gets dark for the 6th and last time for the cyclists. Alan is pushing hard to claim second place ahead of Extreme 4.
Go! Go!
Come on, you got it, baby, you got this. Come
Inside the Team Extreme pace car, it's getting very heated.
Come on, Eric!
Alan Duffy is the last rider out, and it is neck and neck to the finish.
Go on, Duff!
He is a superstar.
With 10 miles to go, Alan is pushing hard to claim second place ahead of Extreme 4.
Dig it, dig it, dig it! Go! All right, Patrick, this is yours. Go. Come on, let's close this out. Good job, baby, good job!
In the Irish car, the team remain calm.
This is it, this is it. Left at the light.
Left here. Left at the light!
Left!
Left!
Left! Left!
Left!
Patrick, left!
Left!
Left! Fuck. Tell him.
With the finish line in sight, Alan brings it home with style.
Did you do it?
9:30 my butt!
Well done.
Absolutely savage.
Go for that.
With the difference between the start times of the two teams, and when Team Extreme arrives 10 minutes later, there are only seconds between both teams in race time.
Are you serious? 30 seconds. Nolan! 30 seconds.
Fucking hell. Did we get
How many days? After how many days? How many miles?
6 days. 4 hours. And 30 minutes.
And how many miles?
Huh? How many miles? 3,045.
Yeah. And we beat them by
30 seconds.
Came second by 30 seconds.
Sorry, and one more thing that's also official by this. #1 coach ever.
We're feeling some of this chaseness.
Oh man, that was
The
awesome.
teams congratulate each other after the closest to finishes.
Well done. Hey, good stuff. Good stuff. Cheers, man.
It's amazing. Absolutely brilliant. It's everything you hope. It's just brilliant. These guys are amazing. A whole lot. Everybody who was involved. Fantastic. And, we're overwhelmed. Just so. We're overwhelmed.
Alan Heary down there decided he wanted to see if he could take 4 leisure cyclists, lads who hadn't raced previously, and give them the coaches, the right crew, and 6 months hard training, see what we could achieve. And this is what we can achieve.
And he found success, right?
So big thanks to Alan, because it was his brainchild, but then PJ, Porrick, it would have been impossible without you as well, and then to all the crew, lads who initially tried out to be on the team, didn't quite make the grade maybe as cyclists, but more than stepped up to the mark in every other aspect. It would have been impossible without them. They all brought different skills to the crew, so we owe all you guys a debt of gratitude.
The highs and lows were just so far between, like, you know, but just delighted with the achievement.
What do I say about the race? I'm glad it didn't go on to 7 days.
Oh yeah!
And the worst week of my life become the best.
And so, the 2008 Race Across America experiment became a great success.
Is le takeíocht ón scéim muoineáin creaaltóireachta Sound and Vision, tonscanmh de chuid an BCI a déanú an chlár seo.